Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get ready to cap off what's been a pretty exciting race weekend here at the Arizona Speedway. Getting ready for race number 17 of the season for Season 5 of the NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series, continuing on our road, towards the chase for the championship. And last week at Phoenix International Raceway, a golden horseshoe fell into the lap of one D Poteet, who was able to win with a late race caution in that Phoenix race. And he starts here tonight on the pole position. So apparently the state of Arizona really likes D Poteet. But D Poteet was a three-time winner last season, picked up win number 1 last week, and we'll see if maybe he can have yet another multi-win season in Hersheys Cup Series competition. But we're getting ready here tonight for the running of the STP Gas Booster 500. And this should certainly be an interesting one, especially with the fact that with the word gas in the name of this race, fuel is going to probably be a huge issue in tonight's event. We didn't get to see a fuel strategy race in the Truck Series event, but we did in the Pizza Hut X Series race. So hopefully here tonight we will also get to see a fuel strategy race in Hersheys Cup Series competition, and more than likely that's going to be the case because these drivers have an added 13 laps put on this race length. So those extra 13 laps could be a huge difference maker in the outcome of this evening's event. Coming into this race, we have a total of 14 different race winners. Only 2 drivers have 2 wins, those being Chris Dodd and S Gallighan. But you've got Cole Baker, Kev Shearer, Dallas McIntosh, Keith Batson, Trent Dunham, Daniel Gilbert, Dylan Poteet, James Richardson, Benjamin Miles, Joshua Michaels, Alex Drayton, and Anthony McCrury. Keep in mind, though, that of those 14 different race winners, only 12 of them are in the top 30 in the points. Alex Drayton is 31st, and Anthony McCrury is 32nd. So right now, those wins would not count towards a spot in the playoffs. So as things stand right now, with only 12 drivers getting in via race wins, that leaves 4 spots available for drivers to get in via points. And those spots right now are being held by Brandon Gonzalez, Blaine Keys, Caleb Farrell, and Jessica Shelton. But we'll have to see if anything changes here tonight. Let's go down and get the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
And it's time to give you your top 10 the point standings coming into tonight's race, presented by Golden Corral. Cole Baker jumped to the top of the points lead last week at Phoenix. He now holds 23 points in hand over Chris Dodd. Kev Shearer is 3rd in points. Brandon Gonzalez slipped all the way down to 4th in the point standings, and Blaine Keys currently is in 5th. 6th place, S Gallighan, Dallas McIntosh 7th, Caleb Farrell 8th, Jessica Shelton 9th, and Keith Batson. That is your top 10 in the point standings coming into this evening's race here at the Arizona Speedway. Going to be interesting to see what happens here tonight in terms of this possibly being a fuel strategy race, and the fact that we had a fuel strategy race last week at Phoenix, and we all know how that ended. We're going to have to keep an eye on the 78 and the 3 during the course of this race if they get into any close proximity with each other, because I don't think they left Phoenix with each other on their Christmas card list. Just saying. Anyway, getting ready to go racing here in the STP Gas Booster 500. Waiting on the flagman. Green flags out at Arizona. Let's roll. Also forgot to mention, as far as our stages are concerned, 15, 15, and 24 this evening. With his win last week, D Poteet picked up his 2nd stage win bonus point. Right now, Keith Batson is atop that with 4 stage bonus points that would apply to him when the point stands are reset for the chase. K Tellier, Chris Dodd, Benjamin Miles, S Gallighan, Cole Baker, Daniel Gilbert, Kev Shearer, and Dallas McIntosh have 3. You mentioned Poteet, Keys, Dunham, and M Haas each have 2. And then Alex Drayton, Dylan Young, James Richardson, Kyle Mathews, Joshua Michaels, Jessica Shelton, and Brooke Allen have won. Of course, those points don't apply unless you make the chase for the championship. Race lead is going to change. Rookie Caleb Farrell will go to the top position. And of course, Caleb Farrell right now would, if the season were to start the postseason, he would be in the chase for the championship via points. Chris Dodd going to move by Dylan Poteet, move him into second. He's looking for his third win of the season. I mean, right now, he and S Gallighan would be the two drivers at this point that are confirmed locked into the chase for the championship. But Chris Dodd's looking for more bonus points. Benjamin Miles, we talked about the struggles that Anthony McCrury, Alex Drayton are having to stay in the top 30 in the point standings. Well, Benjamin Miles coming into this race is 26th in the points, and he dropped 8 spots in the standings after a poor performance last week at Phoenix. So certainly trying to bounce back as the 25. Looking good right now as he's currently running behind Poteet. He's in the 4th position. Drayton, 31st in the point standings, needs to get back into the top 30. Really surprised me, actually, that Drayton didn't get into the top 30 in the points last week. All 3 of the Twinks racing cars finishing in the top 10. But he didn't. Comes into this race 4 points behind K Tellier, who is right behind him in the 7th position. And Tellier is in that 30th position in the point standings. Right behind her is maybe one of the hottest drivers in the last couple of weeks, Emmanuel Hartnett. Finished second a couple of weeks ago at Darlington, and then followed it up last week at Phoenix with a 14th place run, which was kind of shuffled around due to the fact of that late race caution. He was running up inside the top 10 when the cycle of pit stops began. And he has had a very fast Toyota Camry the last few weeks, has a fast one here tonight as he's up to the 7th position. Meanwhile, Chris Dodd trying to reel in Caleb Farrell. It looks like he has caught the draft of the MetLife Chevrolet. And of course, keep in mind these drivers run with the CTS physics, so if they can get in the draft, they can get huge runs down the back straightaway and the front straightaway. As you can see visibly there with the IKEA Chevrolet closing the distance very quickly between himself and the race leader. While this battle heats up for the top position, I'm going to take a look and see if I can find out who some of our former race winners are at this racetrack. Defending winner is not here. That was Joseph Srigley, who won this event back in Season 4. JT Bryant won here back in Season 3. He is in this field in the 22. Looked like we ran this race back in Season 2, and I don't think we ran this race back in Season 1. I'll take a look and see. No, we didn't. So only one former winner at this track is in this field, and that is the 22 of JT. Joseph Srigley was the other one. I'll talk about a couple drivers cracking the top 10 early, and there they are, one behind the other. Cody Llamas in the 48, Trent Dunham in the 1. Trent going to victory lane earlier on the season at Talladega, trying to keep that consistency up as he comes into this race 11th in the point standings. Cody Llamas, on the other hand, trying to go to victory lane for the first time this season. His teammate Benjamin Miles already did it at Charlotte. And Cody coming into this race not only could use a trip to victory lane, but he could just use a good finish. He's dead last in the point standings, 39th out of 39 drivers. A couple other drivers that are up here towards the front. Actually, one of them's making back there is Tim Walsh. He could use a good run. He's 37th in points. And we know Alex Drayton is running somewhat up to the front. He's actually faded back now outside of the top 10, back to 12th place, now just behind Dylan Young. Trying to work his way back into the top 30 in points. But what about Anthony McCrury in the 61? Where is he? Wow. Long ways back here. There he is. Anthony McCrury not having a good run right now. He was last time by scored in 36th out of 39 drivers. Sean Gallighan, two-time winner, went victory lane at Darlington a few weeks ago. He's way back here. And Matt Haas started this race up in the 3rd position, and he's all of a sudden back here in the 38th. Brandon Gonzalez back in 39th. How does a car go from 3rd back to 38th that quickly? Meanwhile, up front, Caleb Farrell and Chris Dodd. And I'm not going to say they're battling because I don't really think they are. I think they are actually have a strategy right now. They are working together in a 2-car tandem to try and get away from 3rd on back, which would allow them to have a bit of a gap when and if the green flag pit stops begin. And that little added track position advantage could help the two of them, regardless of when they come to pit road in respect of when the other drivers come to pit road, to still come out with the race lead in 2nd place. Chris Dodd could also be allowing the 98 to cut the wind, run in his draft, and save a little bit of fuel, which would allow him to be able to go a little bit further in the run than Farrell. I mean, Chris Dodd right now is just looking for the bonus points. Obviously, I think he would have liked to have got around the 95 this lap and led this time, because that would be an extra playoff point for Chris Dodd, but he'll get 9 points as Caleb Farrell will get himself a playoff point and get 10 valuable stage points for winning stage 1. Really big for him, and the fact that he came into this race in one of the 4 slots that are open right now to get in via the point standings. The other 3, as mentioned, were Brandon Gonzalez, Blaine Keys, and Jessica Shelton. Oh, Chris taking a look, and nope, not going to do it this time. And the only thing that I just don't want to see in this race is a yellow flag. I want to see this race play out in a fuel strategy event. Wow, Trent Dunham. That one car is flying. Up to 3rd, got around Dylan Poteet, and Quentin Moore there in the 89. Quentin Moore comes into this race 20th in the points games, but more importantly, he comes into this race 6 points behind Kev Shearer in the Rookie of the Year standings. He's 2nd in the standings. And Quentin Moore has had some pretty good finishes in the last few weeks, and that rookie battle is not over. It's Kev Shearer by 6 points over Quentin Moore. And then 8 points over Caleb Farrell. 15 points over Alex Drayton and 16 points over Cody Smart. Talked about JT Bryant being a former winner of this event. He's not up here towards the front, but his teammate is Dylan Young. So you got to wonder if some information was passed along to his Young Motorsports teammates. Dylan Young coming into this race 36th in the standings. Woo! Getting freight train there, though. Poteet gets around him. Gilbert's going to pass him, and here comes Emmanuel Hartnett to try and take a position as well. Do not be deceived. Although we are under the lights, we are in Arizona, and so it is just as hot here as if the sun were out and beating down this racetrack. So as you see these cars slipping and sliding around, that's big reason why they're not finding grip, as this track is so slick with the hot conditions we've got right now. As Quentin Moore, the rookie, going to go to the inside of Trent Dunham, the veteran, side by side for 3rd. Trent's going to give up that spot very easily, get back in line behind the Racing with Jesus Chevrolet Impala. Meanwhile, up front, Chris Dodd showing a lot of patience here. It looks like he's got a car that's a little bit better than Caleb Farrell, but he's not overusing it. We saw that happen in the Truck Series race here a couple of nights ago when Zach Rogers was trying to get around Michael Whitman, and it kind of looked like he used up all his stuff. Then in the closing stages, when he tried to close in on the eventual winner, Jordan Lopez, he just didn't have enough momentum to catch him. Question is, had he not raced Michael Whitman so hard, would Zach Rogers have had enough to be able to at least get alongside, making a photo finish between himself and Lopez in the closing stages of that race? Don't know. Could very well have been. Now, for the Pizza Hut X Series drivers, they came to pit road somewhere between laps 25 to 30. We're getting into that window now for these drivers. And I think what these drivers are shooting for, they want to at least make it to lap 27 to split this race in two. So that way they only have to make one stop. If they are going to have to come to pit road anywhere before lap 26, 25 to 26, this race could end up being a two-stop race. Boy, Farrell really backed out of the throttle there through that corner. I think he might be trying to save some fuel. Yeah, if these drivers come to pit road before the completion of lap 26, I think that they're in big trouble of maybe not making it to the end of the race, maybe having to pit at least one more time. If they can make it past lap 27, they'll have passed the halfway point, and that may be an indication they can make it the final 27 laps. Right now, about 3.5 seconds separating these top two from third place, so they may be conserving a little bit of fuel here to try and reach that lap 27 mark. They've been running in a two-car tandem for pretty much this entire first half of the race. And like I said, the biggest beneficiary is Chris Dodd. But the fact that the two of them haven't really raced each other hard has really helped them in the terms that they haven't really had to overuse the fuel in their tanks. Lap 26 on the board. If they can make it around here one more lap, I think they will be good to go on the fuel. On making it on just one stop. They are not going to come to pit road, so I think they're good to go. So I think it will just be a one-stop race. I was wondering if it was going to be a two-stop. It will be a one-stop race as they have now reached the halfway point without having to come to pit road, and we have been clean and green all the way up to this point. So these drivers now probably communicating with their crew chief communicating with the pit crew. This is the money stop. This is the stop that could potentially win you this race. Right now, it's looking like it's going to come down between the rookie Caleb Farrell and the former champion Chris Dodd, because they're the only two within vicinity of each other. It's almost 4 seconds back to third place Quentin Moore. Last thing that these two drivers want to see is a caution at any point up to the checkered flag. They do not want to see a yellow flag, because that puts everybody then back on a level playing field and brings the entire field to their back bumper. Slower car up ahead. They are starting to catch the tail end of the field, and that is Brandon Gonzalez Mitsubishi Lancer. And this could maybe be where Chris Dodd decides to make his move for the race lead. Well, they made it further than I expected on fuel. Whoa, careful. Well, okay, maybe it wasn't quite as close as I thought. I thought Chris Dodd was into the left rear quarter panel of Caleb Farrell, but camera angle deceived me. Now they will catch the 23 of Gonzalez. Now the question is, can Chris Dodd use him as a pick? Nope, Farrell gets to the inside. Chris Dodd will follow in tow. So Gonzalez does not play a factor into a lead change at all. And Chris Dodd lost a little bit of ground actually that time. He actually had to get around Brandon Gonzalez in the turn. Farrell was able to make the pass on the straightaway. And now they're coming to pit road. Farrell is going to come to the pit lane. Chris Dodd's in as well. Keep in mind, they're coming to the completion of the stage, and Trent Dunham's going to stay out. So Trent Dunham just got himself a freebie of 10 bonus points, 10 stage points, as well as a playoff point, because Caleb Farrell decided to come to pit road, completing this second stage. So even if Trent Dunham doesn't win this race, he's got himself another bonus point. And coming into this one, Trent Dunham had a total of 2 stage points. So he will have 3 stage points, and he's staying out another lap. So this is very interesting. Trent Dunham staying out. Looks like J Gardner is staying out an extra lap. And I think those are the last two drivers that will have to come to pit road. So will this put Trent anywhere ahead? Ooh, look out. Getting a little bit of flashbacks from Phoenix with a car merging out and a driver coming to pit road. But would this in any way help Trent Dunham to be able to close the gap between himself and Farrell and Dodd? Under the pit lane is the Sun-Chipped Chevrolet. We're going to follow his pit stop since he and Gardner were the last two drivers to hit the pit lane for their, I think it's 4 tires and fuel. It might be just 2 tires. We had just 2 tire stops in the Pizza X Series race. Nope, it will be a 4 tire stop for Trent. Joshua Michaels is in. Baskinger is in. I think those two actually also stayed out an extra lap. Yeah, they did, because Baskinger was 5th, Michaels was 4th, and I think Shelton also stayed out an extra lap here along with Dunham and Gardner. So where are Farrell and Chris Dodd? Have they already passed Trent? Yes, they did. And Chris Dodd came out the race leader. Oh wait, Shelton hasn't been to pit road yet. They've got the 0-2 scored still as the race leader. Where's Shelton? There she is. Oh, I guess she... Oh no, she's coming to pit road this time. So Shelton actually led a lap, and now she's coming to pit road. Wow, she stretched it a lot further than anybody else. And that's going to turn the race lead over now, though, to the 88 of Chris Dodd. There he is. Caleb Farrell will cycle around in 2nd. And I believe Trent's going to be in 3rd. Well, he might not be in 3rd for long. Daniel Gilbert going to get by him. Told you it was the money stop, and the 95 team dropped the ball. The 88 team picked it up. Chris Dodd now out in front with the lead. Farrell back to 2nd. Gilbert's in 3rd. 4th place is Trent Dunham. Quentin Moore is in 5th. Dallas McIntosh 6th, Cody Llamas in 7th, Poteet in 8th, points leader Cole Baker in 9th, and right now 10th place is Levi McIntyre with Hartnett breathing down his neck for that position. Hartnett's in 11th, Dylan Young in 12th, 13th is under contest between Benjamin Miles and James McCloud with J Gardner in 15th, 16th is K Tellier, 17th J Bryant, 18th John Arndt, 19th is Alex Drayton, and now completing the top 20 is Tim Walch. McIntosh, this is a battle now for 5th. McIntosh trying to get by Quentin Moore, Cody Llamas in this group as well. McIntosh, former winner this season, trying to just get some stage points here to keep himself up in the point standings. Comes into this race up inside the top 10 in 7th. Battle on for 3rd. Trent Dunham trying to get back around Daniel Gilbert. A couple of former winners at super speedways this season. Dunham at Dega and Gilbert at FTF. Chris Dodd gets around Brandon Gonzalez again. Gonzalez cycled back around on the tail end of the lead lap after the pit stops. And look at this, Brandon Gonzalez going to go to the inside of Caleb Farrell, and that's going to help Chris Dodd be able to drive away. Brandon Gonzalez is now a lap down, but he doesn't care. He just put Caleb Farrell behind him. And now there is an up-to-speed lap machine between Caleb Farrell and the race leader in the 88. Chris Dodd has never had a 3-win season. He's had a 2-win season. That's the most he had, and that was during his championship season back in Season 3. Or Season 2, I apologize. He has never won 3 races in a single season, and right now, if things stay the way they are, he is going to pick up win number 3 on the year, which will definitely put him into the chase for the championship. There's no doubt about that. I mean, even at this point with 2 wins, he's pretty much locked in. And a lot of times you'll see that with drivers that have multiple wins as we get closer towards the chase for the championship. They're willing to go out there and risk it a little bit more than a driver that's got a slim margin of getting into the chase. I mean, look at how hard Sean Gallighan raced at Darlington. He had a win in the bank, and he was going to race hard to try and use some strategy with the cycle of pit stops at Darlington to try and take the race lead, and it worked. Chris Dodd did the same thing here tonight at Arizona. This race is not over yet, though. We can't throw a blanket over this and call the patient dead yet. Because I am noticing that while we're having this brouhaha going on between the 23 and the 95, the one of Trent Dunham is slowly closing the gap. I don't know if he's got enough time, but that's another driver that's got a win in the bank that really has nothing to lose. 0.4 of a second he closed the gap that time. He and Daniel Guilbert are now seemingly working together, putting together some pretty good lap times, and they are closing in on Caleb Farrell, and as consequence could end up closing in on Chris Dodd. We haven't yet reached 10 laps to go, so there is still some time. It ain't over yet, but they do have to close that gap up a little bit quicker than they have been. Let's see if they close it this time, and they closed up by another 0.4. They will close in on this battle here within the next 3 to 4 laps if they keep running the same lap times they're running right now. Cole Baker has now fought his way up to 5th. Great run for the points leader coming into tonight. He had a solid outing at Phoenix last week. He's now in the top 5 here at Arizona. And let's see if Trent closes it up again. This time by 0.3. And Gilbert continues to run right behind him. They are going to at least catch up to Caleb Farrell and Brandon Gonzalez. And when the 1 car gets within the slipstream of the 95, they are going to close up even quicker. So this race is not over. It is not yet the victory given to Chris Dodd. And look at this. Actually, I think Caleb Farrell might be using Brandon Gonzalez to maybe draft up to the back bumper of the 88. Which might not be a bad idea. The 23 is a lap machine, but he's up to speed, and he could play a huge factor as Trent has now closed it up to 1.2 seconds. And I believe he is now in the slipstream of the 95. So we are going to have ourselves a battle here in the closing stages. And Chris Dodd's going to have to do a lot of mirror driving. Farrell and Gonzalez running the same line, trying to get the run on the front straightaway. Meanwhile, Trent Dunham is closing. He was 1.2 seconds back last time. He is now only 0.8 behind the 95 car. Doesn't look like Brandon Gonzalez is quite as good through the center of the corner as Caleb Farrell. But if Trent Dunham gets up here, and they can make it a 3-car tandem, which he is now right there, and Daniel Gilbert's closing as well, this could get very interesting. You see right there, the 88 drives it right down to the bottom. Gonzalez lets his car drift up off of turn 4, and here comes Trent. He's going to go for 2nd place off Caleb Farrell, and I think he'll complete that pass. Yes, he will. Now can he get around the lap machine of Brandon Gonzalez, as now Daniel Guilbert has caught this slipstream, and he's going to close in on Farrell. Gonzalez is going to move up. Dunham is going to duck low. No, not yet. Might make the move down here into 1. I don't think Gonzalez can hold the bottom. Trent can, though. Down to the inside, and here comes the Sunchip Chevrolet up to the back bumper of Chris Dodd. Hello, Chris, he's there. Look at how Trent's able to put it right down to the bottom. That car rolls beautifully through the center of the corner, and he's to the left rear of Chris Dodd. Trent Dunham going for the race lead. Into 1. And clears. Look at the run Trent gets off of 2. And Daniel Guilbert now gonna try and take second place. Dodd's gonna slam the door. So now the question is, can Trent Dunham pull away? Trent comes into this race outside the top 10, 11th in the point standings, but looking for his second win of the season. He's another driver. Much like Chris Dodd was not a three-time winner in his career in a season, well, Trent Dunham's never won more than one race a season. Battle is on for second. Chris Dodd, all of a sudden, the handling on his 88 seems to have gone away. Well, he got a better run off turn 4 that time, but only enough to hold off Daniel Guilbert, not to close the gap up between himself and Trent Dunham. It's about 0.4 of a second between himself and the 1. And now, Cole Baker is going to move Caleb Farrell back to 5th place. Here comes the 18. He's going to try and get Daniel Guilbert for 3rd, going down here into 3. All of a sudden, we're seeing the drivers that had their cars set up for the long run, we're starting to see them come to the forefront. No doubt, the 1, the 4, and the 18 were set up for the long run, and it's showing here. 2 laps to go for Trent Dunham. Battle is on for second. Guilbert gonna get around Chris Dodd going here into 1. Baker gonna fill the gap. He's gonna move into 3rd, maybe try and take second from Guilbert. Now the question is, can Guilbert and Baker get to the back bumper of Trent Dunham to try and take this win? Baker's gonna go for second. And he's gonna complete the pass. Now can Baker catch Trent Dunham with 1 lap remaining? White flag displayed. One more time around for the 1 car. Half a second lead between himself and Baker. Can Baker close that gap quickly enough with a little less than 3 corners remaining? Doesn't look like it. He's there, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. He might be able to at least get to Trent's back bumper by the time he gets to the start-finish line, but he's not close enough to make a challenge. In 3 and 4, the STP Gas something 500, Gas Booster 500, is going to go to Trent Dunham, his 2nd win of the season. Told you that these fuel strategy races are exciting, and Arizona always seems to deliver. It was looking like it was going to be Chris Dodd's race to lose, and lose it he did, as Trent Dunham was able to close the gap up. And you gotta wonder, think about it, Trent Dunham stayed out about 2 laps longer than everybody else. Was it the fresher rubber that he got, having come to pit road with 2 laps fresher tires after coming off pit road, that allowed him to reel in Caleb Farrell and eventually Chris Dodd for this race win? Got to think about that, because that's a big possibility. But Trent Dunham, for the first time in a Hersheys Cup Series career, has a multi-win season. And this now locks him up a spot, along with Chris Dodd and Sean Gallighan, to battle for the championship this season in the Hersheys Cup Series competition. He holds off the points leader Cole Baker, but Baker with a solid outing today, so it's looking like Cole Baker could very well be locking himself up a spot in the chase for the championship as well, with his 1 win this season and running as the points leader, and now going to have a huge gap still heading into next week's race. So Baker with 2nd, Daniel Guilbert's going to be in 3rd, so he's making a clear case for himself to be locked in the chase as well. K Tellier brings it home in 4th, so Kat's going to stay in the top 30 in the point standings now, and Chris Dodd slipped all the way back to 5th in the closing stages. Caleb Farrell slipped back into 6th. Those two were running 1st and 2nd with about 15 laps to go. Levi McIntire is going to finish really well in 7th. Emmanuel Hartnett, another top 10 run in 8th place. Johnny Gardner brings it home in 9th. Solid outing for the 55, and Dallas McIntosh completes the top 10. Then it was Cody Llamas in 11th, Dylan Young in 12th, Zachary Fitzwater 13th, 14th for Blaine Keys, and 15th was James McCloud, the only defending winner at this track, finished 16th in J Bryant. Benjamin Miles in 17th. The pole sitter Dylan Poteet finished in 18th, with Kev Shearer and Sean Gallighan in 19th and 20th. As you look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, the drivers that had to get good runs to get back into the top 30 in points were Alex Drayton and Anthony McCrury. They finished 25th and 30th, so don't know if they've gotten back into the top 30 in points or not, so their wins right now still might not count towards a chase spot. and we only had one driver finish off the lead lap as all 39 cars finished the race. Brandon Gonzalez finishing in the 39th position, 1 lap off of the lead lap. But that is going to do it here tonight from our race here at Arizona. What a battle there at the end, and Trent Dunham picks up his second checkered flag of the season. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race. If you did, be sure to give us a video, like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We've shown you full finishing results. These are your rookie points and your overall points heading into next week. All 3 series are going to be going racing. Only 2 series, though, will be going to Iowa Speedway, Trucks and Pizza Hut X Series. Hershey's Cup Series action, we're going dirt track racing again as we head to our 3rd dirt track of the season, I believe it is. Yes, it is. We went to Bristol and Eldora already. We're going to the Springfield Mile, and that racetrack has always seemed to bring about really exciting racing. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Cody Llamas is the defending winner of that event, so we'll have to see if maybe the 48 can have lightning strike twice and put his NW Motorsports Chevrolet in victory lane and make it 2 for 2 for the 2 drivers out of that team, as Miles already has a win at Charlotte. But we'll have to wait and see. Hope you guys will tune into those races coming up in the next weekend. But if you enjoyed tonight's race, hopefully you'll give this video a like, subscribe to our crew today, and we will see you guys next time as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.